Okay, it started. Okay. Hi, Sue.
Hi,
Welcome in.
thanks.
Good to see you today. Let's just start with some basic demographics since we're just kind of getting to know each other.
Mhm.
So tell me kind of about like where you're from and what you're doing right now.
Okay, so let me think about this. I live in Salem, and I've pretty much lived in Salem. When I was in my 20s, which feels like a million years ago, I went away to Washington to go to school for a while,
Wow.
and then ultimately came back to Oregon.
Okay.
And I live here with my husband and our dogs and work, and I'm going to school.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about where you work and what you're up to there.
So I work for Marion County Health and Human Services.
Wow.
So what I do right now is I help young adults who are severely mentally ill find housing and keep their housing and make a plan for their long-term housing.
Wow.
And support them with independent living and, having their needs met and a lot of experiences that they may have not had just due to their mental illness. And a lot of the population that I work with has also had other challenges. So for some people who come into the program, it's new for them. So yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really big role. That's an important one.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Would you or how long would you say you've been doing that for now?
For that particular program in October, it's been 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How does that affect you after you leave? How is that for you? Like it seems like a pretty taxing role to play.
Yeah, it can be. I think, there's so many different pieces that come into play
Uh-huh.
from just the agency point of view and things related to the agency and working with individuals and just all policies, I guess is a good way to put it. But then it can be really, really rewarding, helping someone or just being a part of seeing them
Yeah.
learn skills and do new things and achieve goals that they want to achieve.
Yeah.
So that's always really exciting. And then just when they kind of launch and leave and you don't hear from them anymore, usually it's no news is good news. And
Yeah.
so that's really exciting.
It is.
And it can also be really hard, when for lots of different reasons. But it's especially hard when sometimes individuals are just struggling due to their mental health and allowing them to make their own decisions, but still maintaining contact with them, making sure they're safe and things like that. So, it has its ups and downs. I've worked for the county for a while, so I think I'm always open to learning new things about how to take care of myself, but I've also learned how to just, detach. And one of the best things one of my coworkers ever said to me was, we can only do so much. And that's kind of my motto there sometimes. And then also praying for people, that always makes me feel better too.
Yeah.
And leaving it in God's hands. So.
Yeah. Was it difficult to find that balance between being detached and caring?
It can be sometimes, but I've found that for my own well-being, it's not like I just learned how to do all this overnight. It's been a really hard process because for me, it's like I'm working with people, and that's really important to me. But another thing that I've learned is I have to let God enter into this situation, and I'm not Him.
Yeah.
So, but I still need to do all I can for these individuals when I'm working with them.
Yeah.
So it's been a process, and some days it's still really hard, and some days it's absolutely fantastic, and you see people on their journey of success. So
yeah, it sounds like you found a really good spot in your faith to surrender a lot of those things that would probably be really difficult on your own, especially with your job.
Yeah.
That's really special. I love that. Well, outside of your job, what else is going on in your world?
Right now, the biggest piece is just starting this graduate program, which is super exciting for me. It's something I felt, leading from God to do a couple years ago, but had to put it on hold. and now I'm just really excited to be here, but it's a lot to wrap my brain around.
Yeah.
So, just, but I remember, the first time sitting in class, it was just like, yeah, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think now it's just the, kind of the particulars of how to arrange my schedule, how to fit everything in, get assignments done. So right now school's really the other big thing. So there's not a lot outside of that right now. I think COVID's also a reason for that too, so, me and my husband are pretty much homebodies with our dogs, but we're okay with that.
Yeah.
We're not big social people anyway.
For sure.
And we enjoy each other's company and, hanging out with our girls, as we call them. So,
yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, and just, I think also finding new ways and different ways to just enjoy things because of the pandemic is also kind of been happening too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of what's going on.
I love that. I love that you guys have some dogs home with you. I think COVID's been a lonely time for everybody, and that you guys like being home with your dogs, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool. With like school and the grad program, so how long has it been since you were last in school?
It has been 15 years since I've been in school.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my bachelor's degree from George Fox in another evening cohort type program. Okay. And that was really good. But yeah, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
So so this is definitely a bit of a challenge, but I feel like it's good and just yeah, it'll totally be worth it.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like it just kind of getting used to the schedule and transitioning from just working to working in school is a little bit of an extra struggle for you. And would you say that's accurate? Like it's like scheduling and managing your homework and all of that is overwhelming, or what else is going on with that for you?
Well, it's not as overwhelming as it was like the first week when I just kind of felt frantic. So that made me happy because even within just the first couple of weeks, I feel like this rhythm is starting to be created. With coming here and being in class with everybody, but then also just in my time outside. I feel like, okay, so my focus for the next couple of years, well, 3 years, because I'm, extended it, is just going to be this mostly, and that's fine. So yeah, that's kind of just kind of readjusting my perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
And, some of the things that I just won't be able to do just because my time is going to be taken up with this, which is very important to me. So,
yeah.
Kind of making a commitment to something new.
Absolutely. What kind of sacrifices do you feel like you're making in order to like be here in this program?
That's a really good question. I like that question. Well, I think I've noticed even, and I'm hoping this will change again as that rhythm hopefully gets established, but even just connecting with my husband in conversation, because it's kind of like getting home and then it's like, oh, this thing, which is school. Just really being cognizant and aware of what I need to be doing. So today, as a matter of fact, after being here, I was thinking this earlier today, I really need to go home and I need to stop and sit and how are you and what's going on, and because he's really wonderful and he knows that a lot of things that need to be done, are going to be on him. So that's a big shift. That's something that's definitely changed. But again, hopefully when I'm in more of a rhythm, I'll be able to get some of those other things back.
Yeah.
But I think really it's going to be the loss of just more leisure type stuff.
Absolutely.
But I know that also just taking care of myself and it not being all about school is also so important.
Yeah.
So finding that balance.
Yeah. You've mentioned taking care of yourself a couple times. What does that look like for you?
Well, it's definitely having my time with the Lord, what I call just like my quiet time. And I really enjoy the church that we attend, so doing that, even though now just our personal choice, we've decided to go back to live streaming just because of the uptick in COVID numbers. And something new that I started practicing, which is phenomenal for me, is just breathing. like using a breathing app
Mhm.
has made a bunch of difference to just help me be calm and relax and
Oh.
not so anxious.
Mhm.
And I think it's just being aware that, because I can get really hyper focused on things and think it has to be all about that thing.
Mhm.
So I need to just practice ways of breaking from that
Absolutely.
and remembering about the things I enjoy and appreciate, and I think my self-care too is about gratitude.
Mm.
So what am I grateful for, and then what do I need to engage in
Yeah.
within the things I'm grateful for?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you're aware of that in yourself. I think a lot of people get that. I would call it tunnel vision on the stuff that they're working on, and they can't step outside of it very well. But it sounds like you've spent some time building awareness when you get like stuck on things or hyper focused, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not skills that I use well all the time, but I've learned to use those skills because when, and I like that term hyper focused, when I've done that in the past, it's also caused some really big problems within my life and within my marriage. So it's kind of like, oh, let's sit back, and I've learned new skills of how to make a shift, and I'm like, wow, this really works. So let's keep doing that,
Yeah.
So.
Wow. How would you say, like when you get like hyper focused, as we're calling it, on one thing, like how does that feel for you, like physically in the moment? Because it sounds like it's something that's a little bit anxiety induced. Would you say there's like somewhere in your body that you could pin that for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I can feel it. It depends on what it is and how. I think it also depends too if I'm hyper focused on it and or if I'm also worried about it. So if I'm also worried about it, it definitely takes the visceral feeling up. And yeah, I mean, it just kind of varies.
Yeah.
But just not breathing as deeply, more shallow, and my mind will be racing. That's usually also when I'm like worried about stuff, like those two things going together.
Yeah.
And just feeling just like tension, across, my shoulders and chest.
Yeah.
But when I'm just really hyper focused, that's a little harder to describe. I think it's more, I don't know. I feel it more like right here, like especially just in, like clenching my jaw and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is what I can think of.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I think that you're not alone in those feelings of like the tension and the hyper focusing, just because of how much of a busy time we're in, and the way that society has that expectation of busyness constantly. So that's I just find that to be a very relatable feeling. So I hope that you never feel alone in that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think next time I'd love to talk more about the stuff that you tend to hyper focus on and how else you cope with that. But
okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're at like 13 minutes, so.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Yeah.